Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
We're live. What's up, y'all? How you guys doing? Hope you're having an absolutely amazing evening, that you've had a great week, that you had an amazing Thanksgiving last week. Super excited to be back here with you. My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm a physical therapist. This is Casey. He's also a physical therapist. We're the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, where it's our job to help you as a pre-PT get into physical therapy school without having to waste a lot of time or money. And for those of you that are new, who have recently started following us, every Thursday night, for the most part, you know, holidays can change things up, but for the most part on Thursday nights, Casey and I come right here onto our Pre-PT Grind Facebook page, and we do a live stream based off of either certain topics that have been requested for us to discuss by students that have been like, hey, can y'all like talk about this specific thing, or something that we as coaches have observed and said, ooh, this is something that we need to address to help the students that follow us get one step closer to being PT school candidates and being accepted into physical therapy school. So tonight we're going to be talking about hoping versus deciding to get accepted into physical therapy school. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because most of us think to ourselves, like I hope I get into PT school. Like, I don't know. I'm not the PT program. I'm not the, you know, the chair of the department. Like, I'm supposed to hope to get into PT school. And so you'll understand it as we break it down tonight. And for those of y'all that are live, comment #TeamLive, because the more comments that y'all drop, the more people get to see this based off of how Facebook does its thing. But Casey, let's dive into it, man. I actually reached out to Casey earlier and I was like, yo, bro, this topic has been on my mind because I heard a quote recently, and it was a reference to the word decide. You know, the person that was talking about this word, because we've always heard, man, you got to have hope, you got to believe, right? Which is true. That's step one. Like, if someone doesn't have belief in their ability to get into PT school, let's at least get that. But there's a completely different level that students who end up being like strong candidates for physical therapy school, there's a certain characteristic they have. That's that of deciding, right? And so I heard this thing recently, and it was like, yo, that's exactly what it's like. That's exactly what pre-PT students need to understand. And it was someone that was referencing the Latin root of the word decide. Right now, I'm not gonna be here teaching y'all Latin. I don't know Latin, right? But what he said, like triggered this thought. I was like, yo, like that's it, right? And he said that the Latin root of the word decide literally means to cut off, right? And a lot of us as students are like, yo, like, oh, I hope I get into physical therapy school. I'm trying to retake all this stuff. I'm trying to, you know, figure out the GRE. I'm trying to figure out PT CAS. I'm trying to, you know, not get distracted. And we're spending so much time hoping that we're not understanding what we need to cut away. So that's what I want us to talk about tonight, because when you decide, like, there's a certain point where you have to say, yo, I want to be a physical therapist and nothing else. Like if you don't have that feeling and you're like, I don't know, I'm still choosing between careers, then figure that out. Take your time, no rush. But if you're like, yo, I want to do physical therapy, then you have to go beyond hope. You will not get accepted on hope. You'll hang on with hope, but you have to get to a point where you say, I am deciding to get accepted into PT school. So I have to decide, yo, like, if the root of decide is to cut off, I have to realize that there's certain things that have to go, certain habits that have to go, certain interactions that I have with people that have to go, certain beliefs about whether or not I can or can't get into physical therapy school with my low GPA that have to go. And so, Casey, break that down for us, man, because if we can start shifting our minds into this mode of decision, and it's not light. Like, when we decide, it's not like, okay, I want to be a physical therapist. Yay. No. That ain't decision. Decision is like an action word. It has more to do with what you get rid of and less to do with what you keep. So break that down for us, man, because I think if students can start understanding this, man, it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, so when I hear these two words, two other words come to mind, I guess you can say. So when I hear hope, what immediately comes to mind is that I'm leaving it up to someone else, or I'm leaving it up to somebody else's control, or it's not in my hands. It's up to somebody else to your point, decide for me, to cut other people out or choose me or whatever, right? It's up to somebody else. I'm hoping to get into physical therapy school, or I'm hoping to make more money or whatever, right? I'm hoping to get married. Well, to me, that just sounds like everything else is on them. Now, to a certain extent, do you get to a certain point where you've done everything you could? Yes, of course. Then hope comes into play. All right, fine. Beside the point, that's besides the point. Now going into the other word, to decide, that's the complete opposite. That's, to me, it sounds like everything that you can control. To Joseph's point, what can you cut out? And also, once you cut that stuff out, now what are you replacing it with? To get into physical therapy school, or make more money, or get married, to whatever. Okay, you're deciding to cut it out. But Joseph also said other words like execution and other things that we need to make sure happen so that you can decide to get accepted. Whether you're deciding to now replace your limiting questions with now new empowering questions, or whether you're changing your bad habits for good habits, whatever that is, basically you're deciding to do everything that you can in your control to get into physical therapy school, or get better grades, or get a better GRE score, whatever that is. So when I hear decide, it's more so like I'm taking ownership, I'm taking responsibility. I'm not blaming anybody else if it doesn't happen. It's on me, because at the end of the day, if we make this very specific to physical therapy school, when you get your physical therapy school acceptance letter, you're thinking about yourself. Yes, you thank other people who helped you and everything, but you're not going to give your acceptance to somebody else.
Nope.
That's yours. When you get your license, when you get your physical therapy degree, that is yours. You earned that. And that is your fault, or all of that is your responsibility in a good way. So if you can take ownership and decide and execute and make sure that you're doing everything in your control to attain what you want, like that is really what deciding is. And then now hope comes into play. And then you can say, okay, now I did everything I could. Okay, now I can sprinkle a little hope on top to make myself feel better. Or now I can sprinkle a little hope on top to align things in the universe, however you want to think about it. But my fear of saying, or I guess my fear when people think of hope, or say, I believe that I should get in and all that stuff, right? My fear is that they just sway too far to that side, which it sounds like you were talking about as well. So that's really just what I think about when I hear those two words. Hope, that's somebody else. Somebody else would do it for me. But somebody else's name isn't going to be on your acceptance letter. Somebody else's name isn't going to be on your license or your physical therapy degree that you see back there. So why are you hoping for somebody else to do that for you? Is just kind of the feeling I get from it. Whereas deciding is like, no, that's my job, that's my degree, that's my thing. I'm deciding I'm gonna get in. So that's my 2, 3, 4, 5 cents on that.
Exactly. That's it right there, y'all. Like, if you guys can understand what Casey just broke down right there, then it really what it does is it gives you as the student power. Because what you were talking about in regards to how we use hope is, placing it in the hands of somebody else. So that's why we get anxious about applying to PT school. It's like, oh man, the school, like we don't realize that there's a lot that we can actually take ownership of ourselves, right? And so when you do that, when you're owning, like when you figure out what you need to own, like for those of you that are listening to this live replay as a podcast episode, ask yourself, what are the things right now that are like freaking me out? And have I taken full ownership of them? Like if it's my grades, if it's the fact that I don't even know if I'm getting into school, if it's the fact that I'm on a, like have I actually taken full ownership of those things? Like when I own something, like I care for that thing. Like I watch it like a hawk. Like if I own, like Case, like if I go and rent a car, right? Or if I get like a car for a day, I mean, hopefully the insurance covers it if something happens, I'm not a reckless driver, but if I own it, the way I care for it is completely different, right? So when we take ownership for our acceptance journey and say, yo, like, I am intentionally saying that I'm actively stating that I'm deciding to make sure that I own every aspect of my application, which means that I'm gonna own when I need to ask for help. I'm gonna own when I need to retake certain classes. I'm gonna own when I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like I'm gonna take ownership of that. That's where that combination of ownership and deciding really becomes powerful. And then you're right, like hope then comes behind that and really supports it. And students that can do that, oh my goodness, they become unstoppable. And that's why, regardless of where they started, GPA, being rejected, they're still able to get into physical therapy school. So please understand that tonight. Don't let hope be the only thing you're holding on to, because hope still leaves power in someone else's hand. I like hope. You know, if you're hopeless and you don't have ownership, then at least let's get to level one, which is hope. But after that, we really do need to take ownership and say, yo, I'm deciding. If I'm deciding, that means I'm going to look for every opportunity to get accepted. I'm going to focus on all the things that I'm struggling on alone. I'm going to find people that can help pick me up and help me get directed to make sure that I'm on the right path. And if you can do that, you will get into physical therapy school. You will realize your dream of becoming a physical therapist, because anyone can get into PT school, but only the people that actually respect that game right there will. So anyone can get in. Not everyone will, but only the people that do that, take ownership and say, like, I'm deciding. I'm not playing any games. I'm not going to leave it to chance. I'm going to take full control of my acceptance journey. If you can do that, it's game over. And if you're struggling, feel free to reach out to us. Go to acceptancenavigator.com. It's a free training series that we do that really helps you learn how to actively start doing that. If you're like, I don't know where to start, like, go to acceptancenavigator.com. We got you covered. Anything else, Casey, before we wrap it up?
That's it. Let's decide to end it right there. So
let's do it.
That was good.
Y'all have a good one. Appreciate you guys. Bye.